Tennis is a serious sport. Some people may think it's boring as people aren't tackling each other or kicking things at high speed or no huge fireballs and twisted metal are around, but tennis is a sport with finesse and flair that is hard to beat. A sport hundreds of years old, it has become one of the most popular and easily taken up sports around. All you need is a racket, and off you go. It's incredibly social too. So what if you were looking to do something to take your mind off studying and realize that you actually have a knack for this sport? Enter Eiichiro as he makes his baby steps in the field. Eiichiro, known as A-chan by the student body on account of his grades, is an honor student with his sights set on getting a high-paying job and using his intelligence and attention to detail to make it to a great university, but he is somewhat uncertain about life after that. He needs something to take his mind off work, and that something is manifested in the form of Natsu, a girl who borrows his legendary notes on world history. She entices him into the world of tennis by inviting him to a free tennis lesson, and he quickly develops a cute crush on the girl as she plays tennis with the other participants. She has dreams of going pro, and so vicariously does Eiichiro. He just doesn't know it yet. As he progresses, he quickly applies his meticulous note-taking to his hobby and moves up the rankings very quickly through his methodical and somewhat clinical process of acquiring new skills. With each new episode comes a new challenge and a new hurdle to overcome, and he gets the knack of it mostly through constant assessment and trial and error and an iron determination. It's quite admirable to witness. The whole idea of the rising star in a sporting situation has been done many times before, but Baby Steps is probably one of the rarer examples of how to turn the idea on its head and show the development from an academic point of view. Eiichiro doesn't see tennis as a fun pastime. He sees it as more of a challenge to overcome, using his brains and extensive note-taking. He is soon frustrated and confused that his usual approach doesn't yield instant results, but he's not going to give up easily, and pushes through and is able to adapt his style into the sport, and move his way up the ranks through sheer persistence, despite not being previously interested in tennis. It helps also if your crush is into it as well. Natsu is a major catalyst for his entry into the sport, but it's more than just a crush. Early on, Natsu confesses to Eiichiro that she wants to go pro and leave the club eventually to play competitively, something that she doesn't wish to let others know about. He's left in awe at her determination and wishes to join her in her endeavour. Eiichiro is a good main character. In fact, a very good one. He's a smart and somewhat inflexible kid, but you gotta admire his tenacity and drive once he gets into something. He could easily give up and fall back on his academia, but there's one scene where he remembers his lofty childhood of wanting to be an astronaut and a fireman, and wondered to himself where that version of him had gone. His current drive in tennis is rekindling his childlike keenness, and that's a touching thing to witness. Baby Steps is a lot more real than the more famous Prince of Tennis series, in that it charters someone who had no idea about tennis, and then shows him the friendliness at large, as well as the laid-back and enthusiastic community of the Southern Tennis Club. It feels like a real place, and the people in attendance feel like real patrons. This feels like a genuine tale, a tale which could happen anywhere at any time. It's certainly a production which will do the sport of tennis justice, and be a healthy addition to its portfolio of why the sport is a great activity for both fun and exercise. The manga itself is rather prolific with at least 30 volumes in its 7-year history. More than 4 a year. It's a popular manga with lots of followers and clearly a high output, and equally high demand. The style of the characters lends itself to a fast, simple and straightforward designs, and uncluttered presentation. It gives you what you need, and doesn't try and overcomplicate visuals, which is okay for this type of story. The way that the show conveys tennis is in a very non-threatening and friendly way, and expertly broken down by Eiichiro to the point where I felt like I was learning something, and the time flew by when I was watching. I was not only getting a better understanding and appreciation for tennis, but I was also rooting for Eiichiro to do his best and survive, especially against the incredibly intimidating Takuma, a delinquent who is clearly the best player at the Southern Tennis Club in terms of ability, but his sportsmanship leaves a lot to be desired. Baby Steps is one of those shows which gets me curious about sport. I was a big kid at school and was limited in what sort of sports I could do, and as a consequence, I lost interest entirely. When watching this, I was fascinated with the intricacies of tennis and got behind the story of Eiichiro and his rise to prominence. It felt very organic and real, unburdened with the overbearing drama and embellishments of Prince of Tennis. Baby Steps can take pride in the knowledge that it's one of the more complete and solid series going this season. Baby Steps is available to stream on Crunchyroll. My rating? Continue. A believable and straight-up mission statement for why tennis is cool. If you like what you heard, please check out my Patreon campaign to help grow Anifile at patreon.com/MasakoX, or follow me on Twitter at MasakoX.